Welcome to responsive design again, where it means that you now have to write more CSS than you used to because now people are viewing your page on all kinds of different devices. Now we're going to talk about media queries, which is where the rubber really hits the road in terms of responsive web design. I'm going to have some different layouts happen depending on whether I am on a very small device or a reasonably large device. Let me show you a cool tool in the Chrome Inspector to help you figure this out. So I'm going to right click and do the inspector. Then you'll see this little device toolbar here on the left. Click that to toggle it on. And now it's going to show you what your page will look like on some various devices. So I'd like to fix this this problem here. So this gives you the dimensions here. You can also pull this in and out and it will show you the width up top so you can kind of see what happens at the various sizes. So I'm going to say at around, when does it start looking really bad? Like, that's not great. That's probably okay. So 686. So anything, so 700, let's say 700-ish is probably fine. Okay, so if I'm less than 700 though, I'd like to go to a single column layout instead of having these two floating columns. How about that? Now I have to do something that I've never done before. Let's see what it looks like. So in CSS, there's something called media queries. I'm going to put them at the bottom. They're commonly found there at the bottom of your style sheet. And usually there'll be a little comment, media queries. So what is a media query? Well, media query means that you can customize CSS. So think of the top of your, you can customize, to finish my thought, media queries means you can customize CSS for various different configurations of browsers in our case. So think of the stuff at the top as your defaults. So we're going to default to all of these styles. But then in some cases, like for very small devices, we're going to do something special. And this might be something that looks like this. Okay, at media screen and max width 700 px. It's like its own selector. I always forget if there's an equals sign here or not. We'll find out. I think it's a colon. This is its own like special zone where I can write now CSS rules. So, okay, let's see what we've got. If I want to get rid of the floating two-column layout, that was accomplished by this rule which said main float left, aside float left. So I'm just going to say main aside float none. Save. Refresh. Of course I don't see any result here because I'm not at that small screen size, but let's get down to that smaller screen size. And boom! At around 700 pixels wide, those floats go away. Now, of course, now that I have those floats going away, I'd like this to take up more space, right? So now let's just make a width rule in there for the main because it's width 60%. So I'll say width 100%. Save and refresh. Okay, this looks a little weird. I might try to figure out something better here, but what I want to focus on here is how a media query works. So what this media query is saying is, when you achieve this result, you're on a screen and you are maxing out at 700 pixels wide, let's do some special CSS to override some CSS that's found up here. This is more specific, so it takes precedence at smaller screen sizes. So you can do this for and screen sizes. This is the most common use where you have media screen and then you have something about the width of the screen. Totally common use for media queries. There are others, but we're going to focus on this in here. And this is really the crux of it. You find a special case for a layout and you can list it here and then you can put overrides.